Alright, just doing a quick review on The Darkness 2. I played it on the 360. Just want to kind of give my take on it, give my 2 cents. I just beat it earlier tonight. Just figured while it's still fresh in my mind, I'd throw up a video about how I felt about the game. Overall, as far as the first game goes, the first Darkness came out about 6 years ago. It's been a while. I was a fan. I enjoyed it. I played it. I liked it. Um, I was a fan of the comics before I went into the game, so I haven't stayed up on the comics. I read like the first series of comic books. I was a fan. I was interested in the characters. I loved the art style and the background and the history and everything. So, I was familiar with the Darkness lore and the mythology before going into the first game. First game was pretty good. It just had a lot of flaws that held a couple, not a lot of flaws, but a few big flaws that held it back from being a really good game. I felt like they dragged it out too long. The game could have been shorter and it would have been funner for it. I hated the hell levels where you had to go to hell. That was a nightmare. That was hell. That was like torture. Those levels were just bad. And mostly what I didn't like about the game was the fake open world, the fake New York City open environment with the subway system and the tunnels and stuff. It was just too linear of a game. It was just a very, simplistic first person shooter that tried to have like a fake open world to it. They tried to do a little too much and it just didn't work for that game. It felt forced and it felt fake. You did some very pointless, stupid little side quests just to extend the game, just to try to make it feel, more like a open world. Like they tried to do something different and it just didn't work. But overall, for the most part, the game was good. I enjoyed it. I was looking forward to when I heard they were making Darkness 2. I was looking forward to it, and I have to say I was impressed with this game. I think they took a lot of the big flaws away from the first game, and worked out the problems from the first game. Streamlined it, made it very linear. It's very straightforward. There's no fake open world anymore. There's no hell levels. There's no the gameplay is just better. It's tighter. It's more fun. There's more powers to use now. The biggest change would be the cell shaded look. They completely changed the graphics, the look of the game, and I think it works for this game really well. I actually really like the cell shaded comic book look to this game. Some people might not like it. I actually really enjoyed it. I think it gives the game a very distinct look. It sets it apart from the rest compared to the first game, which looked very generic, very a la like Gears of War, just your average dark, gritty, Unreal Engine type of game that I've seen a bunch of times. This stands it out from the rest, gives it a distinct look that makes things pop more. Definitely looks like a comic book. Not to say that every game based off a comic should be cel shaded like this, but I think it worked for this game well to make it stand out. And it has a lot. It's a lot more true to the comics than the first game. The first game really wasn't that true to the comics. Took a lot of liberties, changed a lot of things. Just the look and feel of the game wasn't really didn't really flow with the comic books. This time they completely changed the look. It looks like a living comic book. Jackie even looks exactly like Jackie Estacado from the comic books. They changed the characters just look like they're straight out of the comic books. And they even added it's not really a spoiler, but they added the main villain from the comic books they actually put into this game, which I felt was missing from the first game, the Angelus, which is the arch rival of the Darkness, the yin and yang, dark and light, night and day type of thing. So they actually added that in this game. Not that you actually get to fight the Angelus, but it's hinted at, and then it shows up in a way. I won't spoil it, but make sure you stay after the credits, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Definitely sets it up for a Darkness 3, which I would look forward to. But overall, I enjoyed the game. I thought it was fun. It was definitely more linear. It was shorter than the first game, which was good. I think that worked for it. Problems. The only problems I'd really have with the game is it just got repetitive. Gameplay got repetitive. They repeated the enemies too many times. But overall, a very fun game. I enjoyed it while it lasted. It was short, but I think it definitely picked up. A new studio, but they learned a lot from what the old studio did wrong from the first game, and in my opinion, made things right. I think the story. Some people said the story. Like I was reading a lot of reviews, they said the story was better in the first game. I have to disagree. I actually liked the story better in this game. I felt like it flowed more with the comic book. I felt like I was more immersed into the storyline. They didn't take it away. They didn't take me out of the story with having like a fake open world and dragging things out and stuff. I felt more immersed. I love the parts where you were in the insane asylum. That actually really got me. It felt like a movie. The game was way more cinematic. It was way more like a movie. It just felt like a higher production value and more thought went into this game, and it didn't try to be something it wasn't. It's a pretty generic first person shooter type of game. It's not the best game ever made. It's not going to blow your socks off, but it was a very good, for what it does. It's a good game. That's about it. For a score, if I had to give it a score out of 10 for a game, I'd say I'd give it about a 7.5. That's my personal opinion on the game, just going by it. But I'd recommend renting it, Redbox it, GameFly it, whatever. I wouldn't buy it. It's too short. The co-op multiplayer part's really short, so I wouldn't recommend a buy, but I would definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you like the first game. And if you're a fan of the comics, give it a rent. And I think you'll have fun with it.